Hey guys, it's me Cosmic, and today's video is going to be a guide for socializing within the furry fandom. For those of you who want to get social with fellow furries, but aren't exactly sure where to start. So, first off, where do you even find fellow furries to make friends with? When it comes to convenience sake, you're gonna want to go for the obvious, the internet. However, personally, I do recommend that you try and make friendships that will go beyond just the internet, because those are the types of friendship that tend to last the longest and tends to be the most emotionally satisfying, so to speak, for both sides. Because come on now, which one is better? Playing a video game together or going outside, having a cup of coffee, just goofing around IRL? Obviously, one of them is going to be way more satisfying and worth remembering than the other one. But when it comes to actually finding them, starting off from the internet isn't a bad idea, because that's pretty much how most of us do it now anyways. This isn't like the old days where the internet was still a very new thing. We were all going to college or school or university, thus, making friends IRL was even easier than making friends online back then. So obviously, times have changed and you gotta adapt to it. First off, internet forums, as well as just internet community centers, essentially. To give you an idea, right? When I'm in the UK, I'm in Telford, and turns out Telford does have its own furry group on Telegram. I heard about this while talking to people on the internet, and well, now I've joined it, and now I know where I can find fellow furries to hang around with when the time is appropriate. And from there, you can go ahead and start making acquaintances. And later on, if they want to, you can meet up with them IRL for maybe a fur meetup or maybe even a fur convention. Although I would recommend a fur meetup first if you've never been to a furry convention, because a fur meetup is essentially a miniature version of a furry convention. Thus, there's not too many people, so much that you will feel overwhelmed, making the whole process a bit easier for you. And this brings me to Bark. Bark does have a process. Well, Bark does allow you to find people that is near your location, if they post their location and they don't make it private, for example. To give you an example, you go to these settings right here on Bark, right? You go ahead and chat. For my case, it's England Telford, right? And immediately it's gonna show me nearby people. And from that point, I can start slowly, finding someone that I can meet up with, or finding someone that I can just, be good acquaintances / even friends with. But this does come with a warning. You need to understand, Bark at the end of the day, no matter how much it may try to put social features in there, is still a bit of a dating app. And unfortunately, dating apps attract a very specific type of people. So, to give you an example, if you happen to be an asexual person, then you're probably gonna have a lot of annoying interactions over on Bark. Just gonna straight up give you the warning right there, so be prepared for that one if you go through that route. But in Bark, you do have the option to just, look for friends rather than anything romantic or anything that is just, one night stands essentially. You can use it for other purposes at the end of the day. Just be warned that there will be a few people that do not get the memo, so you're gonna have to put them down a bit harshly. So be prepared for that one. It does happen, unfortunately. Another option would be VR chat. However, for VR chat, if you want to potentially make friends that you can meet up with IRL, then you're gonna have to be a bit more specific and you're gonna look for a group. On VR chat, you can find a group about anything, be it like a joke group or anything else. For example, if I go to VR chat right here and the options are here, if I type in just furry, there's a good chance, the group that I'm gonna attend to is going to be an international one. As in, everybody there is from different nationalities, different countries, and the chances of us meeting up IRL is actually pretty low. But if I be more specific and type UK furry or British furries and so on and so forth, then my chances are actually much higher, to give you an example. And I've already talked about other furry social media apps before, and keep in mind, when it comes to all of them, I do try to be as fair as possible, and I do mention some of the less than desirable, so to say, aspects of it, similar to how I just talked about Bark. But yeah, you can definitely check those videos out to see more. But the point is, in order to make fellow furry friends, you're gonna need to be where furries tend to hang around in. And you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone for a little bit, you know? I know stating the obvious is never liked, nobody likes hearing the obvious, but yeah, it is a thing, you know? Like, I understand some of you have social anxiety, and fair enough, that's not exactly the easiest thing to kick out, but you're gonna have to force yourself a bit, you know? And understand that it's okay if it doesn't work out. Not everybody is going to fuck with each other. Some people just do not vibe with each other. I don't vibe with everyone. I vibe with a specific type of furry. Before I end this video, there are a few things that should be mentioned. Always remember this. Just because someone also happens to share the same interest as you does not automatically mean you will get along. It's simply a part of life. Sometimes you just don't get along. But obviously there are so many of us that you will be able to get along with at least a few of them. And another thing that you should not forget is that just because the person that you are talking to is also a fellow furry does not automatically mean they're going to be a good person either. And remember this, you do not owe anyone jack shit. If they're being an asshole, or if they're causing you problems, or simply put, you're just not really vibing with this person, you know, don't force yourself to try and make it work. Because clearly it's not going to. Just leave that instance or block them, whichever one happens to be the option available to you, and move on to the next. You don't owe them friendship. And most importantly, please, if you are a minor, be extra careful. I know that when you're making friends, you get excited because this is a potential friend, but please keep yourself calm and be careful. If you start noticing they're getting oddly sexual, or they're sending messages that are a bit like suggestive, or they're asking stuff like, hey, would you like to ERP and so on, immediately block their asses. Especially on social media platforms like Discord and Twitter. Because unfortunately, those two sites are fucking littered with groomers. Unfortunately. So you're gonna have to be very careful. Again, keep yourself as safe as you possibly can. Because at the end of the day, no matter how lonely you may feel, it will never be as bad as being a victim. So please be careful. And also, try to stick to your own age group. For example, if you're like me and you're 25, stick with 18 and older. If you are a 15-year-old, for example, stick to other 15-year-olds and other people within your age range. Don't go above. Because again, you can never guarantee who is and isn't a wrong'un. And that's going to be about it for the video. I hope it was enjoyable to you, and I hope to see you again later, some other time. And goodbye. And that's going to be about it. The video today is going to be a little bit shorter, mainly because I'm still working on a long amateur documentary, similar to the one that I made before, Aquatic Life, but this one is going to be about dinosaurs. So yeah, I hope to see you again later, some other time. Goodbye.